I am Holly Poulin, and this is a role-play mediation prepared for the Woodbury Institute tape assessment, and today's date is June 22nd, 2014. Hi, I'm Holly.
Hi, Karen. Sorry, Rachel.
Rachel, nice to meet you, Rachel. And you are Liam. Very nice to meet you both. So I want to give you both each an agreement to mediate.
Thanks.
I want to welcome you both here. My role is to help you have a conversation that may or may not create an agreement. I want you to both know that I am impartial to the outcome, as I have no stake in either. I'm neutral in that I'm biased towards both of you. And this meeting is strictly confidential. I will not repeat anything that is said or agreed upon in here unless you ask me to. And under the state of Vermont, there's a Uniform Mediation Act where under that act there's a mediator-client agreement where I'm protected that you can't take me to court, summons me to court to testify for you.
So, if Rachel takes me to small claims court, I don't need to worry that you'll come and testify and say that I said something?
That will not happen.
Okay.
So if you could look it over and sign it for me, we could get started.
Okay.
I certainly do, sir.
Can she say what we talk about in court?
I am the only one put under the Uniform Act as far as being subpoenaed. I also want to mention that I'm not a lawyer, and if you should come to an agreement and want to make it bound by law, you would have to take it to a lawyer. So, Liam, you're the one that brought the case to my attention first, and I have spoken to both of you in a pre-intake, so I kind of have an idea of what's going on, but I'd appreciate it if we could just take some time for each of you to have a few moments to tell me your perspective of what's happened, so I can write some notes and try to get everything clear. And I'm going to ask that when the other person's speaking to please hold any questions or comments that you have until they're done speaking. Is that okay?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, Liam.
Well, as I told you, Rachel's taking me, or isn't taking me to court, but like is looking for $900 in rent and damages. And you know, we had an agreement that I would do some painting on the apartment that I was planning on living in. The place was always way too cold. It's, you know, November, and it would go down below 50. I started painting some of the rooms. She looked at them. She said, you know, it's not good enough, and you know, forget the deal that we agreed to. I want the money. And the deal we agreed to was that I would paint the place for her, and that would cover the first 2 months' rent. And you know, now I've moved out. I haven't paid the third month's rent because honestly the place was just too cold to live in anyway, so it just didn't work out for me. And yeah, I don't think I really owe her any money. So you know, maybe the third month's rent, but yeah, the place wasn't in a livable condition. So
how much was the rent per month?
rent was $500 a month.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
No.
Okay. Then Rachel, if you could please give me your perspective of what's happened.
Yeah, well, Liam lived in my apartment for 3 months, totally free of charge. Is really what this boils down to, you know. We made an agreement to begin with because he told me that he is a professional painter, that I would let him paint the interior of the apartment in exchange for the first 2 months' rent. And I went in there after the first month and saw the first room that he had done, and it was horrible. It was like a child had done it. Like, I don't know what kind of professional painter he is, but I can't imagine anybody would ever hire him back a second time, so it's no wonder he doesn't have money to pay my rent, because it was a mess. I told him to stop painting. So he painted one room. I reimbursed him for 10 cans of paint, and he lived there for 3 months and hasn't paid me a dime. So whatever excuses he's using to justify are outlandish and absurd. And by my calculations, including the damage that was done in the apartment during the time he was lived there, and the burns in the middle of the carpet that I have to replace now, what I have that he would actually owe me is closer to $1,800. And, you know, I let him move in without a security deposit, all sorts of things I let him get away with. I knew he was in a tight spot and I needed the place rented out, so given all of that, I'm only asking him for $900, but I need you to know that I have already reduced what I'm asking him for by more than half. So,
Well, can I say something?
Please, well, hang on a second. Are you done, Rachel?
I'm done.
Okay, please.
I never said I was a professional painter. I said I'd done some painting, and that I'd be willing to do that for you in exchange. I think I did a fine job with the room. The room was such a mess that I had to I had to scrape it, and I ended up using way more paint than I should have needed to use. I don't think it looks like a child did it. It could use a little touching up, but when you told me to stop, I stopped. So, honestly, I think you just want the money, and you decided that you needed the money more than you needed a painted apartment.
Honestly, I think you just wanted a place to live for free, and now you don't want to do the work properly, you don't want to pay the money,
And you don't want to keep the place heated and up to code so somebody can actually live in it.
Listen, I knew that there were some issues with the furnace, but he's totally exaggerating. Nobody else in that building has complained about the kind of temperatures that he's saying were in there.
Everybody complained. They just didn't, actually check the thermostat and see that it went all the way down to 45 at night. It's really cold.
So if I can interrupt into here, I'm curious about a whole list of things. I just want to make sure that I understand. So Liam came to you, Rachel, and said, hey, I want to rent an apartment, but I don't have money for the deposit right now. And did he indicate I'm kind of hard up on cash, but I can barter with some labor to paint?
Well, I let the security deposit go, period, because I knew he didn't have money. I exchanged the first 2 months' rent for painting the interior of the apartment, which didn't get done because after I saw the first attempt that he made at painting, I wasn't satisfied with it, so I told him to stop.
And then she wanted all the money, and I said I'm not paying rent because I can't live here, and I needed to move out the third month and find a new place to live, which I did, and I'm paying rent there now. I would have preferred to stay where I was, but I couldn't live there with it being so cold. So, I moved out, and I'm not paying rent for a place that I couldn't stay in anyway.
So it's hard to live in a place that's uncomfortable, and it's hard to rent to a tenant who's not paying their rent. So this is why we're here today.
Well, I'm only not paying the rent because we had an agreement that I wouldn't pay it and that I'd do the painting instead. And I'm happy to come back and do the painting for you, but, you're changing the deal on me.
You told me that you knew how to paint, and that is not what became clear to me when I went into that room. It was not well done. So I asked you to stop because I want it done better than that. If I'm going to pay all this money for paint, I would at least like it applied properly instead of slopped all over the place. So, I made a deal with you, and you didn't hold up your end of the bargain either.
But you wanted to hold up your end of the bargain. You just didn't like the results of his work.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm hearing that you'd go back right now and finish painting it to clear up this debt, and I'm hearing from you, but
I don't want him doing it. No, he does not do a nice job. And he's putting as much paint on the floor and the ceiling as he is on the walls. It's sloppy, and I'm just gonna have to pay somebody else to come back through there and clean up the mess and, no, yeah. No, I don't, I want money and I wanna be done with this. I wanna be done with Liam. I want money and to be done.
So, Liam, when you had originally started talking, you said 900 for rent and damages.
That's what she told me she wanted. And now she's saying it's 1,800. And
No, what I'm saying is, if I added up everything that I feel like you owe me for living in that apartment for 3 months, there's cans of paint that are missing. I have to replace the paint if somebody's going to go in there and paint them. I don't know what the hell you did with 3 or 4 gallons of paint that are just up and gone. There's burn holes in the carpet. So I'm saying that if I add up all these things that your 3 months in that apartment have cost me, then it comes closer to $1,800. And I'm willing to reduce that amount to what I have asked you for, which is $900, because I understand that I did make some agreements with you in the beginning that I think I made some agreements, and I wish that I hadn't in hindsight, obviously, but I'm not, what I'm saying is I'm trying to be nice.
Painter.
I'm not asking you for $1,800. I'm asking you for $900.
Yeah, well, you know, I thought I told you that I'm not a professional painter, and I'm sure I did, and I've done some painting. Is it as good as somebody you're going to hire? No, but are you going to be able to get somebody to paint the whole place for free, or for the, you know, just for $1,000? I doubt it. And so, you know, I was doing my best there. I don't know what you expected from me, but I expected that I'd have a deal where I could live, and I don't know, and honestly, I thought it'd be warm enough to live in. I mean, it's Vermont, and if the heat doesn't work in that place, I don't know how you're managing it anyway with the other people there.
So that brings up a curious question I have, Rachel. Do you have any other tenants having issues with the heat?
I have other tenants, and I know that the furnace has been causing some problems, but none of my other tenants have claimed that it was getting down into the 40s in their apartment in the night. I think that Liam is exaggerating, and yeah, I know there's some problems with the furnace, but there are other people living in the building, and it's not unlivable.
So
Check it?
what temperatures have you heard?
I came twice to the building, and I did not witness anything that was in the low 50s and 40s in that apartment
That's
building.
at night. During the day, it's not even over 60.
What have you heard? What have you seen, Rachel, when you talk to your tenants, or
I
two
know
times you
I
checked?
know it's cool, but
Like
I'm under the impression that it's
55
staying in the
cool, or
60s.
60s?
The low 60s is the lowest that I've seen it, like 60, 61, and that's cool. I know it's not like, but it's not 45 degrees. There's not
But
like
if I can't
frost growing
control the
inside
heat,
windows.
it should be warm enough that I can go like sit around my apartment and not feel like it's freezing.
Okay, I acknowledge that there were some problems with the furnace, and I understand that. But you still lived in the apartment for 3 months and didn't pay me a dime. Lost 3 cans of paint, burnt holes in the carpet. So, you know, you can go on about the furnace all you want, but the fact remains that the $900 is reduced from what you really should be paying me.
I'll pay you rent for the last month. I was just holding it back because, I mean, I didn't know what you were coming after me for. So,
$900.
well, I'll give you $500 for that last month of rent, but I'm not paying for the 2 months where I agreed to do something and then you told me not to do it. And you know, I did leave the paint in the hallway, and if somebody stole it, like, I don't know why that's my responsibility. They stole it out of your building anyway, so.
I understand that you want to recoup this money for the 3 months, and I understand that you want to have an apartment where you can be warm.
Well, I have that now.
But we can all agree, or both of you can agree, that those 3 months have come and gone. You've moved on to another apartment. Have you since rented the apartment?
It's still empty right now.
Because you can't rent a place that's not livable.
Have you had it painted?
That's why it's still empty, because I'm working on getting it painted.
Okay. Okay. So at this point, I didn't tell you this at the beginning, I apologize, but occasionally I find it very helpful for the clients that I'm servicing to have separate meetings. It gives me a chance to kind of feel out what you're thinking and what you're feeling, and gives you a space to say what's on your mind without having to worry about what the other person is thinking. So, Liam, if you wouldn't mind, could you just step out into the
Sure.
office out there and help yourself to some tea? And
Thanks.
I think I showed you where the bathroom was.
Yeah, and your secretary's out here.
All right, great. Thank you, Liam. So, Rachel, how you feeling?
Irritated, you know? I mean, I think he's just gotten a free ride out of me. And I'm pissed.
Yeah. And you've also said that you haven't rented the apartment again yet, and
Not yet. And
Yeah.
I need to, I know that I need to fix the furnace. Like, I was pretty clear about that. And that's a huge amount of money. You know, it's an old building. It's, you know, a huge old coal burning furnace in the basement that just hasn't worked well for years. And, you know, I've been limping by on it, and this past winter has proven that I need to get a new furnace in there. So, but like I said, you know, the other tenants have not indicated to me that it's
and no one else has
unlivable.
moved out.
Nobody else has moved out.
But you really need to get this apartment, correct me if I'm wrong, rented, so you'll have that cash flow to get this new furnace in there. So that's really your main priority, is to
Well,
get this apartment
I need to get
painted.
that apartment painted and rented out, and I need this $900 in my pocket.
Now, speaking of this $900, I'm kind of curious. I can see how it's half of 18, but when I look at it as 900, I go, okay, it's 500 a month, 300 deposit, that's 800. I'm wondering, is that 900 what it's going to cost you? Did you get a quote to get it painted, and that's what it was going to be?
No, I haven't gotten a quote on the painting yet. I needed money out of him. There was 3 months unpaid rent, damage to the carpet, missing paint.
Oh, so
And-
is that where that other 100 came from?
I had given him money for 10 gallons of paint. I'd given him $300 for 10 gallons of paint. And there's only 4 cans of paint left.
I
And
see.
He said he used 3 on the walls, which I find really hard to believe. And there's no paint, like, there's these missing gallons of paint that are just gone. I don't know what he did with them. If he, like, used them to paint some other place in his free time and made money on the paint that I bought for my building. I don't know what the hell he did with it. But
Right.
there's the missing paint. There's the $200 that I'm gonna have to pay to replace the carpet that has burn holes in it.
200. Okay, I thought that was 3. Okay.
And so,
And then
you know,
is that 200 in paint?
$150 in paint, $200 for the carpet. And so I just kind of, what did I do? I don't know, 3. So $550 is what I'm asking, I guess, for the last month's rent and a little bit.
So, let's talk about this going to court. If you don't come up with agreement today, assuming that you want to take him to small claims court.
I mean, I guess if that's my only option, then that's what I'll have to do, but
And if you did that, what does the tenant's rights say regarding temperature? I don't know what it says. I'm not a lawyer, but it's just something I want to bring to your attention. And I realize you've already broken it down from 1800 to 900. But I was just wondering if there was any range, since he's already put 500 out there to you, if there's any other suggestions you could think of.
I don't know. I mean, all of this conversation is making me wish that I had just demanded $1,800 from him from the start. Like, then we would be working down from a bigger number. So
Right.
the fact that I was going easy on him I feel like I'm getting bitten in the ass by being nice about how much money I asked for, because now I'm being asked to ask for even less, and I'm already out so much money that.
Why did you, I'm curious to know, why did you decide to drop it from 18 to 9? What was your
Because
logic?
when when I told him he could move into this apartment, I knew he was strapped for cash, so I let him skip the security deposit, and I told him that he could work off the first 2 months' rent by painting. I needed the painting done, he needed a place to live, and I knew the furnace wasn't in great condition, so I didn't really feel right putting somebody in there and charging them $500 of the full amount of rent throughout the winter, knowing that it wasn't going to be like sunny Aruba in there. So I felt like I'll cut the guy some slack. And now, like, rather than acknowledging that I cut him a break, he's trying to like worm out of paying anything for this apartment. 3 months he lived there, he doesn't want to pay me a single dime. Like, he didn't pay for the first 2 months, now he doesn't want to pay for the third month, and there's damage and there's missing paint. Like, I can't eat the whole thing.
So he's already thrown out $500 on the table. Do you think that's all he has? Do you think he has anything else to offer? Because it sounds like, I understand you're saying his paint job was awful and you don't want him back in there, but it sounds like he does want to make it right the best he knows how, and he has his labor to offer you and $500. Does any of that work for you at all, or?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll definitely take the $500, obviously. And as far as the other money, I can't get blood from a stone, can you? I mean, if he doesn't have the money, he doesn't have the money. Even if I go to court, it doesn't mean I'm going to get my money. It just means more headache.
Right. So I'm going to leave you with that thought, and I'm going to go get Michael, or would you mind, excuse me, Liam, would you mind sending him in?
Sure.
And I'll talk with him. Hi, Liam. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Hope you didn't feel like I left you out there too long.
No, I mean,
But
I'm glad you were able to talk to her and maybe talk some sense into her. I don't know.
So it's quite a pickle. She has an apartment that she needs to rent, and you were there for a while but found it uncomfortable with the heat. So now, to put this behind everyone, not drag it to court, you two have to come up with some sort of way to make this work. And I know you've offered $500 on the table. I know you've offered your labor.
Do you think she's going to take me to court?
I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
If she did, can she get the rent money, or do you know?
I'm not a lawyer, so I can't guess how that would all go down.
Okay.
I know there's resources that you can look into, but maybe you'd want to talk to a lawyer.
Okay.
However, I get the sense that you both just want to settle this today and be done with it.
I mean, that'd be nice.
How do you feel about the fact that she took it from 1,800 to 900, hoping that you could at least
I
settle?
don't think I owe her 1,800. I mean,
What if you do think you owe her then?
I think I owe her for the last month's rent, and if she wants me to paint the place, I'll paint the place. But like, we had a deal, and she's the one who changed it. So, the last month's rent's fine, but it's also like,
So
the place
that's what
isn't
this
livable.
500 represents. Not what you can afford, but represents what you feel you owe.
Well, and I don't have a lot of money. I just put a deposit down on the last place. I mean, you're right. Like, I didn't pay rent for a few months at this place, and that gave me a chance to save some money. And that was going to be great because I could get back on my feet, because I can't live in this place. I've had to use that money to get a new place. So I don't want to pay rent in 2 apartments. Especially if I'm not living in one anymore. Like,
Right.
I left already. So,
But could you acknowledge, I'm curious just to know, could you acknowledge that Rachel has tried to work with you and that she tried to do the paint for the rent thing.
But I
and
tried
that
to work with her. I tried to do the paint for the rent thing too, which is good for her. It's not like, I mean, you know, I would paint the place, but she told me not to. So, and I get it. Like, I'm not a pro.
Right, and she's trying to rent it, so she feels like she needs a professional job done in order to get.
The place I'm in right now
tenant.
isn't perfect. Like, I think she's a little stuffy. But, yeah, I mean, whatever. I'll pay her the last month rent if that helps. And if it'll keep her from taking me to court, because I don't know how that's going to go, like, I'm happy to throw in a little extra to, like, make her happy, but I don't have $900 right now.
Well, I don't know what that little extra is, and I don't know if you feel comfortable acknowledging that she has tried to help you in the past. I'll leave that all up to you, but I have a strong sense that if you folks don't come to an agreement today, that the two of you probably are going to end up in court. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to go get Rachel. We're going to continue. Rachel? Are you ready? Sorry. Oh, you're fine. So I think what the two of you are trying to work on here today is how to settle the difference between what you feel you are owed for rent and what you feel is left that you owed since you didn't pay the apartment. Do I have that right?
Pretty simple to me. We got to figure out. I mean, I get it. I owe you some money. Like, sure. I was withholding that last month's rent because I couldn't live in the place because it was too cold. But I get that I owe you some money. Yeah, I feel like we're just trying to negotiate over how much that is and how I can do it, because I can't pay full rent on two places. I mean, I had to move out of your place so I could move into a different place, and I was able to save up because I wasn't paying rent because I was planning to do the painting. So, you know, that was a helpful deal for me, and I wanted to keep up my end, but when you said you didn't want to paint it, it was like, okay, well then I guess I gotta get out of here because I don't know. So, you know, I can give you the $500 that is for the last month.
Okay, so then what about the missing paint that I have to replace? What about the burned hole in the carpet? And the fact that I still need to have the rest of the apartment painted? Like,
Well, you know, I'm happy to help you paint, but you don't seem to want that from me, so...
I just think you did a really sloppy job. I mean, is that your best work?
I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know what,
So you,
like, you
so
want.
you,
Like, no, it's not perfect, but I'm also, like, the place I live in right now, the paint's, like, cracking off the wall, so it's better than that.
So, I mean, I don't know how to reconcile that. Like, your version of a good paint job and my version of a good paint job don't match up. So,
Well, if you want, like, a really professional paint job, like, then I'm not going to be able to do it. But if you want, like, a decent paint job of somebody who's, like, painted my friends' houses, I've helped a couple friends who, like, had some work to do. Like, am I perfect on the trim? Like, no, I'm not. Like,
the building,
I tape it as best I can, and, like, I paint as well as I can, and, like,
so
yeah,
I
there
guess
might
what I'm
be a couple
asking you
drips.
is, when the job that you did in the room that you did paint, is that your best work?
Probably not. I mean, I probably could have done a better job taping. And so, yeah, like, yeah.
So, I mean,
If you want, like,
I still need the place painted, and I don't know. Maybe I would be willing to give you another shot on.
Honestly, I'd rather not, because what it feels like to me is if I end up painting all of it, that's basically giving you the 2 months rent that we agreed to, and I was still in an apartment that was too cold for me to live in. So like, I'd rather just like, you know, I can probably afford like $50 a month,
That's fine.
and you know, I'll pay you back for the paint that got lost. That's another $150, and so I can give you $500. Like, I can write a check for you today, and then next month I can give you $50 a month for 3 months, and that'll replace the paint.
And what about the burned carpet?
What do you think that's going to cost you? I mean, like,
I think it's going to cost me $200 to replace the carpet.
for that carpet, $200.
I have to replace, it's wall-to-wall carpet. I have to replace the whole carpet for 2 burn holes.
So you're going to get all new carpet in this place.
It's 1 room with 2 burn holes in wall-to-wall carpet.
So that'd be another $200.
Right.
So that's 700, 850.
Right.
Fine. So that's what? $50 a month for how many months?
9
For
months.
9 more months? Fine.
Okay.
You guys good with that? So if I understand you correctly, it's $500 in cash today, and then another 450,
350.
350.
So maybe
Excuse
I
me.
have-
350,
It was
so it's 7
7
months.
months.
Yeah.
Okay, just trying to follow here.
And how do I know she's not going to take me to court?
How do I know he's actually going to pay me the money?
Well,
I'm not going to take you
Let
to
me-
court as long as you paid the money.
Let me just step back for a minute and say, Rachel, if he pays the $50 a month, would you take him to court?
No?
No. So as long as you pay
Well,
the
you said that
$50
this,
a
like-
month,
but if I don't, does she take me to court for more? Or does she take me to court for the 50? Like,
so the way mediated agreements work is that it's an informal agreement between the two of you. It's not bound by law, and if you want this agreement bound by law, you would have to see an attorney,
okay.
and then it would be bound by law. However, I will say that if you get through all of this and you make all your payments, you both signed off on the agreement, and you took that agreement to court, it would hold a lot of consideration.
I guess I'm just scared that, you know, I'm going to be 5 days late on a payment, and then I'm going to end up in small claims court.
Well, don't be late then. Just, I mean, I'm not saying I want to take you to court over a payment for $50 that's 5 days late, but like, just don't be late. Just pay it. Like, if this is the agreement we're going to make, then just.
Is this something you're thinking now that it's going to be tough to do?
Yeah, because I need to pay rent in the place that I'm at. I mean, this isn't easy. So,
What if you lowered it to $30 a month?
and then make it easier, but then I'm paying for forever. But, I mean, I guess, whatever. I can make $50 happen. I just want to make sure, I feel like you're getting everything you wanted. You know, it's $850 instead of $900, which is what you were asking me for. And I just want to be sure that you're not going to take me to small claims court. So if you want to, like, write something up, I don't think either of us want to pay for a lawyer, because I don't have money for that. I can
Part of
barely
my
afford
service
this.
is that I will write this up,
Okay.
and I will mail a copy to each of you to sign.
I guess I'm saying I want a signed copy from you saying that.
You and me both. I mean, yeah.
But I'm just going to be transparent here and say I'm a little concerned about what you said about $50 a month is going to be hard for you.
Of course it's going to be hard.
Did you want to lower that to something that's a little more
I just
comfortable?
want to
or?
be done with this. I just want to, like,
So you're comfortable with $50 a month
I'm not comfortable
financially?
with anything financially. I'm going to be giving her all of my savings as that $500 because I had to put a deposit down on the new place. So that doesn't leave me with much. So that's the best I can do, but I don't want to get taken to court.
The best agreement that anyone can make is one they can live with. So I just want to make sure that you're comfortable with
I
that
can live with
$50
it,
a
but
month.
you know, the $50 might come in late every once in a while. Like,
Can we have a conversation then around, or how do you both feel comfortable having a conversation around, let's say you suddenly become aware that, oh, my payment's going to be 5 days late. Are you comfortable with him calling you saying, I'm going to be 5 days late, or?
Yeah, I would prefer a phone call and, yeah, some notice that it's gonna be late, so I'm not sitting around thinking that you're just trying to stiff me.
Is that something that I
Sure.
could put into the agreement?
Yeah.
That if the payment's going to be 5 days or more late, that you will call her?
I would rather that a payment never be more than 10 days late, because then he's just gonna start backing it up and it's gonna roll over into
well,
the
and
next
that
month
might
and the next
happen.
month
It
and the
might
next
take an
month.
extra month to get it all paid. But like, you're getting your money, and you're getting $500 a day. You know, it's $50 less than the $900 you asked for. So
Well, you both have done a lot of work here today, and our time is up. So I would like to end the meeting saying this, that I will write up what you've discussed today, which is $500 today, $50 a month for 8 months. Do I have that right?
7 months.
7 months. 7 months. And that Liam will call you if it's going to be later than 5
can you
days.
do 30? Is 30 okay with you for whatever that would be? I guess it'd be
$30 a month.
$30 a month
15.
for 8 months, or whatever. 350, 10, 11 months, and then 20 in the last month. Is that will you take that? Because that would be easier for me.
If it's done within a year, then
Yeah, that would be a year. Can you write that up instead?
I
then?
can. I
Okay.
can.
And I still want to know that if it's, you know, a little late once in a while, like that you're not
as long as
dragging me off the
as
court.
long as the debt is settled within a year, then it's fine.
What would you do, like, well, whatever, I'll just give you the 500 now. It's fine.
So are we all set?
Yeah, and you're gonna write it up and mail it to us?
Yep, and you're both going to sign
Can
it?
I get a signed, I want a copy that she's signed for my records too.
Sure.
I don't just want my signed copy,
Sure.
so can we
Yep.
send them back to you?
Yes.
And
I'll
then
I'll
you'll
have
send us-
instructions all in
Fine.
there, because they'll send them actually via email if that's okay. And then if you could send them back to me. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate all your hard work, and I'm happy to see that you both were able to work this out, and I wish you both the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Cameras are still rolling, so I can't tell you all. This is